Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I cover my review for MLW SlaughterHouse, which was admittedly a fun little pay-per-view. I do recommend you go check it out, although some of it is not for the squeamish, I'll say that. So sit back, relax, and let's do this as we start off the show with the Doomsday Chamber. Now what this is, it's a steel cage match topped with barbed wire. Weapons are pretty much encouraged, and the only way to win is to set your opponent in a torture chair and flip a switch, aka it's an electric chair. Yes, I know. They had this match back in WCW where Abdullah the Butcher was electrocuted. So, MLW decided to bring this back for the Halloween season, which, I'm definitely okay with. And don't get me started on the stage setup. It was great. Little gravestones all along the, little gravestones all along the entranceway. Pumpkins everywhere. It was definitely in the spirit of the season. So, Doomsday Chamber participants. We got Matthew Justice and Mance Warner of the Second Gear crew, and Cannonball and Talon, the current newest recruits for the Calling. These two squads have been feuding for quite a while, and honestly, I'm going to be interested to see where this goes. Second Gear crew and Calling pretty much brawl on the ramp before they get in the cage. And then, once they get in there, they use chairs, they use barbed wire boards, extra boards from the ring, barbed wire. The chair was used a little bit. Before ultimately, after a big splash from Matthew Justice from the top, the Talon gets set in the chair, and Mance Warner flips the switch, ultimately electrocuting Talon and winning the match. This was definitely not a usual wrestling match, but I think it fit. And yes, I know technically they did kill someone, but it's an extra. So I'm not gonna say no harm, no foul, but I mean, I've seen worse. Trust me, I've seen in some wrestling matches, I've seen worse. Anyway, ultimately, Second Gear crew pick up the win. We then get revealed that TJPW's own Miyu Yamashita, I do hope I'm pronouncing that right, I do apologize if I'm not, will be joining the promotion coming soon, which, that's very exciting. Definitely seeing MLW reaching out to other promotions, it's very, very awesome. We then get a Rocky Romero interview in which, Selena De La Renta doesn't let him talk, which I'm kind of surprised by that. She pretty much says, look, this isn't about feelings tonight. This is about history. And the promotion's Dorado is about to make history. So, that's something to take a look at. We then get a kind of hype video with the history of Alex Kane and Tom Lawler. If you don't know, Davey Boy Smith was supposed to be in the main event against Alex Kane, but he had to go in for emergency surgery, get better soon. And so he got replaced by Tom Lawler, who is an MLW World Champion in his own right. So, we'll get to that one. And then we get the reveal of the Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal match for the openweight title, as Manders comes out, flips a switch. It shows a tumble-wheel in the background, lands on Last Man Standing, in which, yeah, we'll get to that one in a little bit, with Manders pretty much proclaiming, second gear crew are going to be 2-0 against the Calling tonight, and I'm bringing home some gold, which, that could be interesting. We then go into a title for title match, as the MLW middleweight and the CML historic welterweight titles are on the line, as Akira takes on Rocky Romero. And honestly, surprising to see, Jesus Rodriguez, aka Ricardo Rodriguez, Alberto Del Rio's old ring announcer, comes out, announces Rocky Romero to the ring, which, honestly, that's awesome. Match was honestly a little bit more traditional, no weapons, and they honestly tore the house down. Like, they worked really, really well together. At one point, the other members of the Calling, the guest masked wearers, tried to get involved, but Selena De La Renta fought them off with a kendo stick, which, that's interesting. Then after a couple of sliced makis, which is a great name for a finisher, that only gets a 2 count for Akira. He keeps fighting out. Goes for a death penalty, but that gets immediately countered. A low blow, a sunset driver for the victory for Rocky Romero, the new MLW middleweight champion. And honestly, I think that's really awesome. This match absolutely ruled. Can't wait to see what happens next. Speaking of what happens next, we have the Falls Count Anywhere match for the openweight title, as one called Manders takes on Ricky Shane Page. Of course, we have more second gear crew versus the Calling, and they went immediately after each one another on the ramp. They eventually do make it in the ring. Bell rings. And they just start ripping into each other. Like, it's almost immediately they get chairs. They get, there was a chain spot that missed at one point. Then Ricky Shane Page gets Manders' coat and just starts wrapping it around its neck. That's a little brutal. Plenty of chair shots. Eventually, some other minions of the Calling attack Manders, but Manders fights out of it. Ricky Shane Page and Manders then fight up the ramp. Manders gets his little rope cowbell on the end, starts choking him with the rope, and then they go to the back, which, that's not the end of the match, don't you worry. But that match is seemingly continuing, but, I guess someone needed a break or something. But I think this is a fun idea that I kind of miss from, like, old school wrestling. For, like, Falls Count Anywhere matches, they go somewhere else in the arena, but instead of showing it on just the big screen, they move on to the next match, which I think that's a really interesting idea. Because we go into the next match for the women's featherweight title as Del EXO takes on a Phantom Challenger. Now, of course, while this goes on, we see the openweight title match continuing into, like, a side room, which is interesting. And now the Phantom Challenger is revealed to be Janae Kai. Now, I have seen her in places before. She's been in NWA. She's been on Dark a couple times when that was a thing for AEW. So I do know what she's capable of. And apparently, she is with Promotions Dorado as she comes out with Selena de la Renta. This match was a little bit awkward. Like, I'm not gonna lie. At first, it definitely was a little bit awkward. They did try to get on the same page at one point. It did pick up a little bit. But then, ultimately, after a sleeper hold, their winner, new women's featherweight champion, Janae Kai. I feel like this match was a bit stuck in first gear. They tried to get into second gear, but it just wouldn't budge. Like, it wasn't a bad match overall, but it was... It was definitely stuck in first, between first and second gear. Although this next match, we do get some more glimpses of the openweight title match. They fight into like a boiler room for a little bit. And don't worry, that match is going to have a finish. But next up, it was a bit of a dream match. And a match I don't think I ever thought I'd see. But it's Minoru Suzuki taking on Jacob Fatu. And, this match was absolutely awesome. They were throwing pretty much heavy shots all night. It was great. We had counters, pound counters. Jacob Fatu hit a Samoan drop on Minoru Suzuki near the end, which I never thought I'd see that. But eventually, Suzuki gets Fatu in a sleeper hold, and then struggles to get him up. Pile driver to pick up the win. In which, honestly, I'm surprised Fatu took that loss there. But post-match, they did raise each other's arms and shake hands for a bit. So, show of respect for everyone. And honestly, it was a match to watch. I cannot recommend it enough. Next, we see a bit more of the openweight title match as it's in the back of a moving truck, which that's... I miss seeing stuff like this in my wrestling. WWE used to do it all the time when they had the hardcore title. It's fun. It's great. Don't get me wrong. I like to see two warriors in a ring battling it out. But to see a little bit more, spice it up a little bit. I missed when Falls Count Anywhere matches went into, streets and bars and stuff. That's some of my favorite stuff. Anyway, then openweight title match comes back into the arena. They're brawling on the ramp a little. Eventually, they do get back into the ring. Manners gets one of the pumpkins from the entrance, puts it on Ricky Shane Page's head, and then hits Ricky Shane Page with a piece of the barbed wire of one of the boards in the head, which it then kind of sliced in half, leaving kind of a pumpkin collar on Ricky Shane Page. I thought that was funny. Then coming out of it, we have Akira coming out. He's locking eyes with Manders. Ricky Shane Page, Akira goes for an attack. Manders bails out. Almost hits Ricky Shane Page, but that misses. Big old clothesline to Manders. Jeez, that was rough. Gets him back in the ring. Raven Effect DDT for the win for Ricky Shane Page. And during Ricky Shane Page's celebration, we get a superimposed person doing this. I don't know if it was Raven, because we haven't seen Raven in MLW in a while, but I'm not sure who it was. Could it be a new member? Maybe a new leader? Although it does seem like Ricky Shane Page has kind of taken over the leadership role of Raven. And now we go to our main event of the evening. It is for the MLW World Heavyweight title as Filthy Tom Lawler takes on Alex Kane. And I guess it's revealed that Filthy Tom Lawler is a part of the World Titan Federation because before he makes his entrance, Mr. Saint Laurent video on the board, and then he comes out wearing those weird Daisy Dukes jeans. Those, I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, this match was definitely a lot of fun, definitely classic wrestling, although it kind of had, at least at the start, a little trouble getting out of first gear. Eventually it does, with both guys just going for broke, suplexes, ankle locks, the whole 9 yards. It was great. But then it just ended suddenly after a sleeper hold by Tom Lawler that gets a roll up from Alex Kane. So your winner, still heavyweight champion Alex Kane, who snuck out a win from Tom Lawler, which ultimately I do understand it does make sense, but it felt like such a quick finish. Like maybe they were short on time, maybe one match went a little bit too long, I'm not sure. But yeah, I feel like once they got into second gear, that's kind of where they stayed until the surprise roll-up finish. Anyway, post-match, Alex Kane gets a microphone, calls MLW my house, and nobody is taking that from me. And the Boomay Fight Club run this promotion. Out comes Matt Cardona, which, yeah, I thought he'd be in the tag match, but ultimately he wasn't. Alex Kane asks, "Man, what do you want? You lack of melatonin looking," which, that's a great line. Then Matt Cardona replies with, "I'm here to save MLW." A kind of picked out storyline from what he was doing in the NWA before he got hurt. And then, Cardona continuing saying, "I'm the one who should be champion right now, and you're just in my way." Then Alex Kane retorts, "Look, I don't really have a problem with you. I got a problem with him," pointing to Mr. Saint Laurent. "You hanging out with him, it's not a good look. We all know what he's about. Now, if you want to take my spot, come and get it." Before Cardona's then taking off his jacket. Then from behind, Tom Lawler hits Mr. Thomas, who is Alex Kane's bodyguard, in the back of the head with a chair, in which that looked absolutely brutal. And then all four men start brawling. So it does look like Cardona is next in line for the MLW World title. That is honestly going to be something to watch, because Cardona has pretty much been taking over the wrestling world lately. Like, if anyone's a belt collector, go take a look at how many belts Cardona has right now. So, anyway, real entertaining show. I do recommend it if you do like, maybe some more extreme levels of wrestling. And, I definitely enjoyed myself. Ultimately, so, little update for this week. On Wednesday, I'm going to be doing my predictions for Bound for Glory, which that's going to be Saturday. And this week is actually my date of birth. So I'm going to be going out to see family. I'm going to be having some dinners. So the coverage of some wrestling might be in question. Tonight's Raw should be fine. Tomorrow's Power should be okay. Dynamite is in question because, I'm going out. And Thursday I might be able to finagle a little Impact Wrestling and MLW. So I think for that I could probably cover it on Friday. And then the rest, so that's Ring of Honor, SmackDown, and Rampage, I could easily cover either Saturday or maybe Monday night. So that should be fine. And then, so no Collision. And then the next week, I'll have my review for Bound for Glory Monday. Then maybe that Wednesday, I'll have predictions for Southway, which is NWA's next pay-per-view event. However, that night, I'm going to be at Collision. So, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. I will try my best to keep, to cover as much as I can. So, that's what the schedule is looking like for this week. Thank you for staying tuned, and until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.